Minecraft 1.14's first snapshot has finally been released, bringing with it several new features to look forward to in the next update. After exploring all of the added features, I immediately jumped into a creative world and explored the many different building possibilities. My name is System Z, and today I'm bringing you 10 of my discoveries. If you enjoy the video, make sure to leave a thumbs up and consider subscribing for more building related content and 1.14 news. Let's jump into it. 10 designs coming to Minecraft 1.14 using the new building blocks. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the 10 designs that I do have. Most of them are using the loom block. I've got to admit, that's one of my favorite textures of the snapshot, but we also see different, things with bamboo. We also see the new stairs, slabs, and bricks. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, let's get into it with design number 1, a chimney and foundation design. If we take a look at this very, very subtle cottage design, which I absolutely love, it's so adorable. You can see that we do have an andesite foundation here and a white concrete main wall. Now, using the new slabs, we're able to separate them in various different ways. I just have one example here, of course, but realistically, what I'm trying to show here is that there's so many new possibilities using the new slabs, stairs, and blocks, and even blocks from other updates that happened more recently. Honestly, what I love about the recent updates is that it seems like new players to the game are kind of given a chance to develop their own unique building style that hasn't been done already. Because simply put, when people join Minecraft, they're also joining around times when new blocks are coming out. So there's a lot of cool stuff coming to the game, both now and has already happened. Now, one of the next things is, of course, a chimney design using the new brick wall. We can get a very, very defined shape out of this instead of using the previous design where you use a full block, which just looks a little bulky. And it doesn't really fit, if I'm being honest. I feel like this just takes over too much of this wall, and it's a little overwhelming. Whereas now, if you use a flower pot on top of, brick walls, you actually get a very, very nice looking design that fits this style very, very nicely. Next up for design number 2, we've got an air conditioning unit. That's right, a window unit, an air conditioning unit. I never thought we would get something like this, but honestly, it just works so well, especially in an industrial setting. Now, if you take the loom block, you can see it's got various different textures all around, but the top has this grill looking texture. And I think a lot of people in the community are very excited about it, myself included. Now, this is a bit of a stretch on grass, but if you had this in a cityscape type environment, it's definitely believable that that is meant to be an air conditioning unit. And around a suburban house, you could even have it on the outside to be, an outside air conditioning unit. So I think that's a great design and something we've really needed for a while, because for the longest time, I always just put potted plants outside of a window, whereas now we've got something a little bit more unique. And I also want to mention, for some reason it looks 70s. It looks like something that would definitely come out of the 70s decade, which is just interesting to me. I don't know. I think it's cool, but definitely interesting. And next up for design number 3, we've got a conveyor belt, which is very interesting and also using the loom texture. Now, because of the way the loom block looks, it almost looks like a railing system that's carrying along items. And if you put a lever beside it to control the direction, it's definitely believable. Now, this is obviously very simple and nothing crazy, but this would really change the atmosphere inside of an industrial, factory. So this is an interior piece that we haven't really been able to do too well in the past. But now we've got a very, very nice design for it that fits and makes a lot of sense. It's too bad it doesn't really work, though. I feel like a conveyor belt would be a very good addition to the redstone side of Minecraft. But what do you think of this? Do you like this design? Let me know in the comments below. And for design number 4, we've got empty bookshelves. This one is a little weird, but I've got to admit, it makes a lot of sense. If you look at the different textures, the structure makes sense with the wooden frame. All the bookshelves have a center shelf here. That's 2 pixels kind of wide there. And that's the same thing for the side and back of the loom block. The only difference is the shading on the bookshelves is under, whereas it is on top on the loom. This makes it look like there's books missing out of these certain textures, which is very good to add variation. Now, I wouldn't recommend doing this, in a 2x2 or a 2x3 bookshelf, but if you're going to paint a wall with bookshelves, this is a very good way to mix it up. So, for example, in a library, this would be a fantastic way to add variation and detail to your build. Design number 5 is incredibly simple. We have nothing more than a sofa. Well, there's a little bit more to it than meets the eye. We've got Spruce Signs here on the arms, which means using the new signs, we're able to get a lot more consistent color schemes with our furniture, which is huge, but there's really not much to say about it. It's something that I wish we could have done for the longest time, but we've been able to get by with the normal oak signs. I don't think it looks too bad, but using the spruce, it definitely looks a lot better than this. So now that we've got the new signs, there's all sorts of possibilities for keeping a consistent design and color scheme all throughout our interiors. Design number 6 is a personal favorite of mine, a potted plant, but this time instead of using a cactus in the flower pot, we use a brand new bamboo stem. Now the great thing about this is that the color of green that we get from the bamboo really fits nicely with the color of leaves here. Previously, whenever I would use a cactus, it looked alright, but the green was just way too vibrant and way too saturated, and just kind of stood out a little too much. I feel like this is a very consistent design all throughout, and definitely looks good inside or outside. Bringing back an old design, number 7 is a grill using the new loom block with the top texture, seeing as it does look very believable as a grill. I think this color looks a little bit odd for a grill altogether, but it definitely makes sense, and all the shapes really add together to create a believable exterior piece. So again, I really hope they don't change the texture of this block, because as of right now, it seems like everybody's loving it and its many different possibilities. I think in all of this video, this is probably my favorite. I feel like this is a great interior piece that we can put in any room of the house that's really gonna look awesome. We've got a sewing machine. Now simply put, we've got a loom here with an armor stand hidden underneath using pistons to push the loom onto it. And then we've got an item frame laid down on top and a leather helmet placed on top of that. This creates a very nice sewing machine, as if you're really just building out the leather armor here, and would really fit in a medieval setting, but honestly could fit in any single household. The more textures and shapes you add to any piece of decoration is really going to come out and pop to the viewer, because obviously in a game that's all about cubes, the more shapes that you can get, the better. It's all about the detail in building, and this is a fantastic decoration. Design number 9 is rocks used for landscaping. We've actually got a new use with these stone slabs and stairs to continue something I've been doing for a while now. You can of course use them to better your landscaping and keep things a little bit more consistent. You can also do that with andesite and actually go for an andesite set of stairs and slabs to just have that consistent, boulder or rock design. Now this is merely an example of landscaping. There is plenty you could do with the new slabs, and this is only a small percentage of what is possible. And last but certainly not least, detailed caves. Using the new slab, stairs, and walls specifically for stone, we're able to create a much more breathtaking view of an underground cavern. Now what's possible now with landscaping is truly extraordinary. We can use the new stone slabs and stairs and andesite variants as well to create a much more rigid and detailed landscape. I absolutely love what's possible in caves because they look a lot more ominous, especially with the spikes hanging from the ceiling and the different things that we're able to do with the walls. Now, one thing I would love to see is a variation of a mob spawning room. I'd like to see them spruce it up a little bit more with these new blocks to create a much more spooky environment. Now, to show you what I mean, if we go ahead and look up in the ceiling, you'll see it looks a lot more broken and cracked and definitely not something pre-placed. I think it fits a lot better in a normal cave. And another side note that I would love to see is the blocks that kind of pertain to the mob spawner out of mob heads. I think that would be a fantastic way to get those mob heads in vanilla, because there's definitely a lot of uses, especially for the skeleton head, that we could do, such as a campfire, for example. You guys have seen me do that quite a bit. So I would love to see mob heads, but obviously it has not yet been confirmed. That's just merely a suggestion to the game. Another side note is using armor stands. You're able to create a very nice reward to anybody playing a map. So for map makers, this is a great way to display, different pieces of armor laying around. Perhaps this is where, a player was running and their helmet got shot off by a skeleton and landed right there, which again is a fantastic way to reward the common explorer. Guys, that is going to do it for today. Hopefully you have enjoyed the video. If you have, make sure to leave a thumbs up and consider subscribing for more building related content and live streams every weekday at 5 p.m. Central Time. Let me know in the comments what your favorite feature about this snapshot was and what you're looking forward to in the next update. My personal favorite feature has got to be scaffolding. I can't wait until it arrives in hopefully the next snapshot. Outside of its mechanical uses, I've already been thinking of many different ways to use it in building and decoration. 1.14 is shaping up to be just as spectacular as 1.13, and I could not be any more excited for the snapshots to come. And guys, without further ado, my name is System Z. You guys have been awesome, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.